How do you reduce the resistance between you and the actions required to achieve your goal? And this is one of the most important unlocks when it comes to online business and actually accelerating towards your goal and your desired dream life. Because if you don't do the actions that are required, then it's not going to happen. You're not going to get there. And so uncovering the resistance aspect, it's like, how do we eliminate the resistance between you and the actions? Because those actions are what achieve the goal. And so one of the biggest things that I was sitting down writing. I write every day because that's one of the most important things in terms of content creation for me, is that I just sit in front of a camera. Like, I don't have a teleprompter, I don't have edits, I don't have anything. So the idea of the video is one of the most important things to me. And I need to come in here locked and loaded with ideas and topics that I can actually talk about consistently for over 10 minutes, okay? And that alone gives me some sort of competitive advantage because I'm not reading a script. I'm actually thinking of this stuff. And in order for me to retain that information, I need to write essays, basically. Like, I need to write out what things I'm learning about, what philosophical, psychological principles am I learning about today, and what are interesting to me and what's directly transferable over to the creator economy and building an online service business. And so there is, think about it. Think about those actions, right? There's resistance between me and actually doing that. But doing that gives me leverage where I can sit down and gain a competitive advantage for trust acceleration. Because there's this contrast between, hyper edited style videos where someone's just reading from a teleprompter and then me going off the cuff from a culmination of the information that I wrote down and wrote out essay style and did the research and tried to understand it, right? And I have a deeper understanding because I'm the one that wrote it. I'm the one that ideated a lot of the principles, okay? And so that gives me the advantage and the ability to sit down and just talk about this stuff. And so when we tie back those actions down to the outcome that I want, and then we add the resistance, it's like, how do I actually do that with low resistance so that I can stay consistent with the action? Okay, and one of the biggest things that I realized is that what I do is I pair things and I also talk in third person. Okay, so when I pair things together, right, and an example of this is I need to sit down and write. What I'll do is, I sort of have this indulgence of liking to drink Coke Zero. And I don't want to drink Coke Zero randomly. What I did was I paired it with the action of writing. Okay, and because I write, I'm then allowed to have a Coke Zero. It's sort of this positive reinforcement to the action. And that pairing, it makes the action more desirable. Like, I actually want to do it because I want to drink my Coke Zero while I write, okay? And it's like something I look forward to now. And then there's the sort of symptom of the actual writing is that my understanding of the topics that I actually want to talk about and want to learn about go deeper. And so I can elaborate on these topics and leverage that as a personal brand asset and a skill that I accumulate over time. And this is something that I truly want you to, it should be an unlock for you, because that alone, just that, of pairing the action with something desirable, that way the action is desirable in and of itself, is one of the most powerful things that you can do because it reduces the resistance between you and doing the thing. And so if you have an action that you need to do that is going to be a high leverage pull for you, then pair it with something desirable so that the action itself becomes desirable. And a lot of the times, the resistance of you and doing the action itself is you have an inflated, expectation of what the effort is required. And you're like, I feel like this is going to be so hard. It's going to be a lot more difficult. And then once you actually do it, it's like, oh, this isn't that bad. This is actually kind of fun. It's like writing, essay style is actually kind of enjoyable. That's one of the core unlocks as well. But for the second part is that talk to yourself in third person. It's like before this video, and this is my 7th video in the 30-day challenge on YouTube. Before this video, sometimes I get nervous, sometimes I get anxious, and I think about it and I'm like, I talk to myself. I say, Trevor, you've done way harder things than this. Like, this is easy. And plus, using the mindset principle from Earl Nightingale of truly believing that you're the best at this, you know that you're the best, and acting and behaving as if you are the best, not in an arrogant way, not in an overconfident way, but just an identity way. Like, actually believing that you are the best. And I'm going to mention this over and over again because I think this is one of the most important unlocks that you can have in terms of your actual mindset and identity and how you carry yourself. And it contributes to confidence and how you show up on camera, how you show up in front of your clients, how you behave and talk and drop price and talk about your offer, and all of the sort of business principles and how you show up in that aspect. If you truly think that you are the best at this, you're going to act like it. You're going to behave like it. And a lot of the times you have this like effective forecasting error. Like, you forecast the action to require more work than it actually does. And when you eliminate that and you actually just do the work, it's like have you ever heard of the thing where, you count to 3, but on 1 you do the action? So it's like if you have to fold your laundry or something like that, let's just say as an example, you count to 3, but you do it on 1, or you have to wake up, right? And you're getting out of bed, you're waking up in the morning, and it's like you think of counting to 3, but on 1 that's the go. And so that's how you can. That's sort of like a mental trick to like reduce the resistance between that and the thing. Like, resistance is simply just avoidance in disguise. Like, you think of the activity, like the easy task that you do on a day-to-day basis, you could categorize that as activity, but you're avoiding the high leverage ones, which is actual progress towards your goal. All of this resistance talk is really just me trying to communicate to you that there are bigger, more important things than just like sitting on your ass and not taking action, and then like thinking about the action but not actually doing it, right? Like the whole goal is to sort of inspire change in your behavior. And I think this is what a lot of really good creators do, is that their videos don't just talk about specific topics or give you information or do specific things. It really is inspiring change within your behavior. And I think that's one of the core things that you should carry on into your own content. And the creators who realize that every second that's spent on polishing the video and retention editing is a second that's not spent on helping the viewer understand the topic deeper. And so, this sort of wraps up my video here, but I appreciate you watching, and I hope you stick around. Like and subscribe. Peace out.